straight tripping.
He's so quiet. Where's that? Meow.
Well, he's being loved, so he doesn't need to meow.
Straight
He's
tripping,
such a
yo.
mouthy cat. I'm surprised how quiet he is.
He was meowing at the door, that's why I let him in.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to make one to wake up my son.
It seems like a good policy, to let your cat in and pay attention to it.
Snoop C-A-T-T.
Snoop Doggy Dog.
How does Snoop Dogg get away with all his misogynistic language?
Can you guys not? I said C-A-T-T, not D-O-G-G.
Sorry, Snoop Kitty Cat. What?
That's right.
Let's get going, guys. How about that? How about we do a show?
Yeah.
All right.
This thing's not on. Fuck. What? There's no recording happening on my recording.
And just so you know, Crofton, we're not where you, like, on my screen where the videos are, it's not where...
Where am I pointing? Who am I pointing at for you?
You're pointing at the out corner of my screen where no one is.
I'm pointing at you right now.
Yeah, no, I'm in the middle.
Who am I pointing at now?
Actually, maybe I can get this right. Okay, I'm pointing at you now, Crofton.
That's perfect. That's what it looks like on my screen.
And Beau, I'm also pointing at you.
On Skype, but on the stream it doesn't look like
See, because I'm smart enough to know that it's reversed.
See, I'm pointing at Beau.
No, you're pointing at the Skype thing.
Now I'm pointing at you.
Beth Singer. And
Nice.
But what we were really giving you props on was your ability to make music, play instruments, produce. You're extremely talented at that.
Yeah, I would say be careful what you wish for. When saying more music to Beau, Beau's like, oh, sweet, solo. That would be awesome. Instead, you did a singing montage, which was okay. Good.
Speaking of music producing, we did a long time ago. It might even have been one of our first episodes. We did autotune, and I noticed just recently the Stuff You Should Know podcast did how autotune works, and I was like, oh man, we did that like years ago. Except theirs is much more informative, of course. It was actually about how it worked, but I feel like you go to that podcast for information. You go to ours for like interesting perspectives on it.
That's right.
So go back and check out our one of our early episodes.
I wonder how it holds up. Probably poorly.
We need to do our What Is Love cover sometime soon, by the way. I think that was one of the highlights of the Good, Bad, or Bullshit time on this planet. People
It's
know
funny,
us for
I actually heard that song today. I was listening to on the Spotify free membership thing, and they have like a Throwback Thursday playlist, and I was listening to it, and then wouldn't you know it, out of nowhere I hear, "What is love? Baby, don't hurt me.
Don't hurt me.
It's a classic.
No more." Why do we sing it in such a high falsetto? Is it
Well,
falsetto?
the singer does sing it that way.
And that's the only way I can sing.
Okay, this like introduction to our show is going already off the rails, as it often does.
It was really good. You just left for a second and it got really good. Then you came back and it, boom, 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 shots fired, got crappy.
I have that effect. Someone's got to keep it real.
I like how you shots fired yourself. You're not supposed to shots fired yourself. It's the third party
I can't tell
observer.
what direction I'm shooting the shots in.
All right.
God.
You just shot fired yourself again. All right, you guys ready to get a topic going? I feel like we don't have anything on preamble stuff.
Well, we've rambled quite well, I think. Okay, let's just start the machine. Mike can start choking on fumes and... One day I think Beau could do a montage of our most crappy intros, and it would be pretty hilarious.
To What Is Love? To What Is Love?
Okay, the topic today is acting.
Acting.
I'm an actor.
I am an actor. What's that from again?
Arrested Development.
Oh, right. Tobias Funke, the quintessential buffoon of acting in, dramatic arts of our day. Also a never nude.
Have you guys ever done any acting?
Yes.
That's one for Beau.
I would say no, No, I haven't, but I was like in high school, I was in this audition for a play that got canceled.
Oh
Anyway,
man.
I
Well, then you acted in the audition. That
yeah,
counts.
well, I
That's
got the
performance.
part, but like it
Well,
was
if the play didn't go on, it doesn't count.
no, it doesn't count. It definitely doesn't, but it gives me some perspective because I did have to learn lines and that sort of thing, right? So it was not
Rehe-
nothing.
you were rehearsing it. That's
It's
acting.
different.
That counts.
I
It
did
counts.
the high school acting. I had a pretty big part in this. What the hell was this play about? It was like about Irish immigrants. I played the narrator.
Was it
What was his
by
name? It was like a
Friel?
drunken Irishman.
Is it because your last name is Hodgins? Was this
No, I
like
think it was because
ethnic casting?
they thought I was funny, and he was supposed to be kind of the humorous.
Was this in high school?
Yeah, it was called the Black Donnellys is what it was called.
Oh, right. Black Donnellys. I haven't read that. It was on my to-do list for reading of plays, but I never got
Really?
around to it. Yeah.
Well, I played. What was his name?
The
I can't
narrator.
even remember the character I played. Man, that was like 20 years ago or something. For God, I'm old.
Were you in the recreation of one of the? Because we went to high school together. Wasn't there one? Faulty Towers? Did you guys do
Yeah,
it?
yeah. I played Basil Fawlty in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
But they did three, so there was like three different. So I have done some acting, and even though that's high school, and a lot of people have done high school acting. You're still, there's still like 100+ people in the audience. I mean, they're
Oh,
like your parents
absolutely.
and
And you're
stuff.
in your formative years. I would say that's probably the scariest shit acting right there.
Yeah,
Michael,
I was a pretty shy teenager, but I guess that's one of the things about acting is that you can be someone who's not naturally outgoing or whatever, but taking on the persona of a character might allow you to come out of your shell, so to speak. And because I always found it was pretty comfortable to be on stage, more or less.
And Beau, you have done more recent acting. I think we all know.
well, I've been taking some acting courses here at the acting company in Ottawa in the Glebe.
I like that it's called the acting
I think
company.
it's called the acting company.
I
The
see their
acting
sandwich
co.
board. I walk by their sandwich board like every day.
Yeah.
It's between me and the grocery store.
If
So
you're in the
I,
Ottawa area and you're looking to get some like just acting for fun, to something to do once a week, like some people like to have a sports team, you might enjoy doing this. It's a lot of fun. Everyone's in a good mood. No one comes to acting class like going like, "Man, I'm tired. I don't want to do this." It's usually a very positive, fun experience, and I highly recommend it. I look forward to taking some more classes at some point in the future.
See,
so
I think that's more more refreshing because when I think of acting and like obviously a lot of the media we consume, TV, movies, all that, there's plenty of acting going on behind the scenes. But when somebody says acting, I think of theater, and I don't know why. Maybe because it's the most pure form of acting, and you're in front of a crowd and all this. And it definitely like it makes me nervous just thinking about it. And I'm not a generally nervous person. I'm good. I'm a fairly decent public speaker. Can speak in front of a crowd as myself and all that. But acting I find very intimidating. So Beau's version of sort of like a more collegial atmosphere as an adult where you're sort of comfortable in your skin and all that. It's more. I like that more than the sounds of doing doing a play in front of your entire high school, playing some buffoon character. You know,
I did the Tempest in grade 6.
The
Wow.
Tempest, that's advanced stuff.
Was
for
it
you
elementary.
guys are nerds.
Was the wizard Falstad or Prospero? I think it was Prospero.
Falstaff.
It's
Oh
Falstaff?
wait,
I think it was
maybe
Prospero.
yeah, maybe not in the Tempest actually.
Yeah. So I played the Tempest, and my hey mom, made an awesome wizard costume. I think I had the most badass like cosplay wizard. I had a beard and everything. Like it was, students had to make up their own thing, and I think we had the best costume. So I remember acting there, doing Shakespeare in grade 6.
So
Look at
that
me,
we just
prodigy
talked a little
man.
bit about our personal experience acting and that kind of accessible acting that a lot of people do when they're in high school or younger or can go like Beau does and take these classes and I do think a lot of that why people like acting maybe is that it feels empowering. I mentioned I was a shy high school student, so to then be up on a stage and people are watching you perform. It makes you feel empowering, and that's maybe good personally, or it's a fun thing to do. But the other thing about act, well, like when Crofton, you said you think about the theater when you hear the word acting. What I think about when I hear the word acting is some vacuous Hollywood actor making some political statement or something and being like, why would I care what you say? You're an actor. It's usually like the actor is like the profession which we lavish riches and fame upon, that I think, ultimately I judge it as one that you don't necessarily need to be, brilliant to do. And that's being very judgmental on my part, but that's often what I think when I think of actors.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of people think of Kevin Costner right now. The darling actor, man child is Chris Pratt. Everyone loves Chris Pratt. He's so funny. He's so attractive. Like,
Whoa.
well, no, he
I don't
is
know
like
who
that.
Chris
If
Pratt
I
is.
were making money on picking who to place bets on, like I would be picking Chris Pratt. Like people like that guy,
I'd
and
date Chris Pratt.
yeah, totally. And so
Call me.
is he a great actor? Are there better contemporaries than him out there? I'm sure even he would tell you yes, absolutely. But that's not going to stop him from being the most popular. So I think there's a little bit of this weird thing where like we appreciate dramatic arts, actors perform dramatic arts, and it's up to this anonymous mass of people who gets like the love, and the person that gets the love because they're pretending to be other characters in the public eye for the majority of how people know them may in fact be shitty people in real life. But when you get, because I think about this stuff even though it's furthest from my reality of like, what if I became famous? Man, I would be ashamed of my personal life. Like I play video games all day. I'm a disgusting human being. So like
Whoa.
all of a sudden I'm famous because I'm in Jurassic Park 10, and I'd start feeling pressure like, oh, I got to use this platform to like do good in the world, because you know what, acting is doing good. You're pleasing people. There's a bit of positivity to lightening a person's day through your performance. I think you can say that. But like they love me so much, I need to give them something more. Like I have a responsibility. So you know what, pandas, if you respect me, you should respect pandas, because pandas are like on the extinction list. And like, so listen to me, actor man, say donate to panda charities, and then I can feel better about myself as a human being, and less like a disgusting person that I was before I was famous. So I feel like there's this weird pressure when you're at that level that we don't understand, that makes them come across as arrogant, because they're all like, listen to me, I'm an actor and I'm telling you good stuff, when really at some level they're just trying to do good with the weird thing that they have called fame.
Well, it's
I,
I was just gonna say about the famous thing. Like, so it's like people attain prominence in society for various reasons, right? Like, so you might become prominent because you're a politician, leader, whatever. You might become prominent because you're, I don't know, a respected author or journalist or something like that. And the other people we know so well in society are actors, and I'm like, like, because you know their face, but it's sort of like, I feel like for what they actually do, what they get paid, and the presence they get in our society, the weight we give them, I feel like for doing what again, for speaking words that someone else has written, and hopefully in a convincing manner, that
but
puts them at the pinnacle of our
You're
society.
describing it a little
Okay,
shallowly,
so
but I'll let
what I
Crofton go.
what I would say is you guys are getting caught up on actors, Hollywood actors, which is fair enough. I mean, like, and Chris Pratt is an actor. I would argue that he's like difference between comedian and dramatic actor. Like he is more of a improvisational comedian who has landed big acting parts. But I would say that what's interesting about the profession of being an actor, and I use the word profession extremely liberally here, is that you probably have 5% max, 5% of your top actors in the world making a ton of money. like or
I think
making
it's less than that, probably.
yeah, yeah, I'm saying max, substantial, and we're talking like I mean, when I say a ton of money, I mean like, a livable wage to millions and millions of dollars. The vast majority of actors are just scraping to get by. If they get paid anything at all, it would be surprising. So there is, and again, using the word profession almost feels like weird for acting, but if it's considered a profession, then it is one of the most economically unbalanced professions that I can possibly think of. And that's kind of, I mean, you can say that that makes sense. The movies or the TV shows or whatever are that draw in a ton of money. You reward the people who are in them instead of all these other people that are struggling to make it. It kind of makes sense, but it also seems like the worst excesses of capitalism, like crystallized in one profession.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
and I can reaffirm that. I've taken some, acting classes. I took a few workshops. I got to hang out with a guy, Robert Boxtel, who's a Canadian actor who's been in lots of theater. He's been north of 60 and done a lot of voiceover for cartoons. And his advice was, you better be doing this because you like it, because you're basically looking forward to making below minimum wage. You'll be lucky to make 10 grand a year doing acting in Canada. So if acting is really your jam, you can't count on being the famous person. Very likely you'll be earning a workman's wage, except it won't be consistent because you've got to audition all the time. It's like you have to constantly be applying for jobs in order to maintain a rate of income that is like able to sustain you in life. And so you hope to get lucky when you score big, but that doesn't happen for everyone. So,
But it's also like I think that's part of the problem of the it being such a unbalanced again profession as Crofton stated is because the people who are the most successful at it, everybody knows who they are. Not only are they rich, they're famous. They're celebrities. So oftentimes when it's not like it's a job you don't do much you won't make much money working at McDonald's, but 1% of McDonald's workers are world famous millionaires. It's not like that, right? It's just that it's such a narrow thing, but yet it's the thing you see the most, so it's the thing people want. I think probably a lot of people want to become I know when I was in high school, I was young, you'd be like, oh, maybe I'll be famous one day. And as you get older, you realize, like, yeah, that's dumb. You're not going to be famous. You may as well play the lottery and hope to win millions because the odds are probably similar. But of course, what appeals to you again is that if you were to become successful in this profession, people would listen to you. You'd be famous. They'd know who you are. You'd make tons of money. All this stuff. And again, it comes back to me. But what are they actually doing? It's like
I can
pretending to be somebody else,
No.
and you're just like, do they?
That's-
It doesn't make sense.
that's a,
And yeah, go ahead.
Continue. I answer because what do they actually do? I can answer that question for you. They're artists. Like, so it's like, why would I be a painter? Like, why would you want to ever make beautiful painting? Like, it's stupid. It's like they're artists, and their art doesn't have a permanence like a sculpture does or a piece of music that's recorded. Is it effervescent? I don't know what the word is, but like you perform it and it's done. But their art is living truthfully under the imaginary circumstances of the text. So what makes a performance truly moving is not someone who's miming crying. Like, look at me, I'm going to act now. I'm crying. Do you really buy that I've channeled a vulnerable side of myself into the performance? And so what really moves us is when you actually see someone who's pretending to be another character, but who is so convincingly vulnerable. And it may be a combination of practice of just emotes, which don't resonate deeply emotionally, but it's getting to that point where you can connect with your subconscious into the performance that moves other people. Because have no doubt, when you actually see someone get their leg run over by a car, you will feel something when you see it, right? Like the way they act, the way they behave, there's no doubt in your mind, oh, they're acting. Like they're writhing in pain and you're feeling something. And someone's performance of human emotion can reach out and touch people. It's possible for that to happen. And I think people who love acting for acting's sake, who love that performance, seek out that art. That is what acting is. And there hacks who take advantage of it, who have shitty performances and yet somehow famous and keep, Adams. I don't think has Adam Sandler ever moved anybody. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if I'd call him a great actor.
No, but he's a comedian, and I think
he does acting. He engages in the art of acting.
Well, yeah, no, I agreed. But again, there's comedic actors and there's dramatic actors, as there were in Shakespeare's time, as there are now. And I think that I think even in Shakespeare's time, a comedic actor couldn't always necessarily do drama and vice versa, right? So, I mean, I'm not trying to defend Adam Sandler here, but he does what he does, and some people obviously enjoy it. Now, the thing I would say, and Beau makes a really good pitch about actors, because I definitely agree. I love, like, we have talked on this show about stuff like Star Wars, Star Trek. We've talked about tons of things, made references. Beau has orally filleted Breaking Bad. Like, there's been like a lot
Wow.
of references to different shows, and I think it's because they make they're very important to us. We've derived a lot of enjoyment through them, escapism and all this, and they're populated by actors, and those actors are making us feel something. I think my issue with it, and it's repeating a little bit of what Mike says here, is the top percentage are getting all of the spoils, both in celebrity and in terms of financial gain, and that's really not too problematic, except for the whole sort of role model aspect. And Beau, you touched on how actors are not necessarily the people they're representing in film. Sometimes you've got some good eggs, and sometimes you've got some bad eggs. They're just like people. And odds are, if you are a famous actor, you probably have a healthy dose of ego, right, to get to that point. And I think that in terms of setting a role model for people, you have people like the whole joke in Arrested Development with Tobias is that he has like a profession in which that he's quite successful at, and he's pursuing the dream of being an actor, being like famous, being like, I'm going to put everything aside and I'm going to make it as an actor. And that's romantic. It's a romantic sort of idea, but in practical terms, it's not a great one. And I can see it like when I was in college, there was a drama course, and there was tons of people putting on plays, and I went to see a lot of them, and they were very passionate about them, and they really enjoyed them. And it kind of like breaks my heart in retrospect, knowing that all of them failed. Like, pretty much none of them became famous. None of them are. It's very doubtful any of them made any money doing it. And I wonder if it's just like not a negative influence, but it's giving false dreams. It's like the American dream in a profession. Like, you can make it. Just do the performance of your life, and you will make it.
Yeah.
It just seems kind of
Maybe. I think the industry is built that way. I don't think you're wrong, Crofton. I think one of the things about acting is that, like, and I'm gonna drop all my nerd cred here because this is like my subject that I've read very few books in the last 5 years. The books I have read have been about acting, and I just
that's sad, Beau.
I just enjoy it, but I enjoy it from a cerebral point. Like, I enjoy it, and so in Aristotle's Poetics, now part of it is observations on how to create a tragedy, which is outside the scope of what we're talking about. But there is a bit in the Poetics about his observations on human nature, how children, in order to learn about what a cat is, they'll behave like a cat. Like, a child will just go meow and get on all fours and pretend they're a cat. There is something inherent in the faculty of our learning that we mimic things that we try to learn about, that we see. I wonder what it's like to be a tree. Let me try being a tree. And we grow out of it as adults. Like, most men and women of adult age are like, oh, that's kid stuff. That's what you do when it's kids. I think Aristotle would say that's incorrect. We're always mimicking, but we gain the ability to repress things because of living in social structures as we become older. Although we can say, well, if you're an actor, then it's a profession, that's okay. But in all honesty, we all still have that capacity for mimicry, and acting is channeling that sense of artistry, that human thing that we all do. So we're all actors, and we all don't do it professionally, and perhaps the profession of acting is, as Crofton says, one where it's like, yeah, come on, you can make it, you can be the best actor in the world. And as Mike says, it's the red carpet for all this vacuous shit that we should not be worshiping. And I'd almost agree, because we're all actors and we're all special in that regard. So these like 10 people that we think are famous don't deserve our love as great actors, because maybe they are great actors, but there's a wide world of performance out there that doesn't revolve around this celebrity worship. I'd agree with that too.
The celebrity aspect of it, and we're definitely entangling things a little bit.
Yeah.
And we talked about celebrity before on this show, and I think we mostly, I can't remember. I'm sure it was something like bullshit. I feel like I should go check. So it is entangled with this, and it's funny because sometimes I'm like, actors, like whenever I feel let down by actors is when I hear them when they're not acting. So if there's most people in Hollywood are like you got to be decent at acting. There's some exceptions. There's some horrible actors who've become famous, but most of the actors who are up there doing the big Hollywood movies are pretty good actors. So you watch them, it's a good movie. You come away with great performances. That's awesome. And then there's nothing like watching late night shows. I like some of the comedy of the late night shows. I'm really sad Jon Stewart's off the air. I love that show. But basically, when an actor came on, I would stop watching, because I'm like, it's going to be some painful conversation about some humorous story. Oh, on set, blah blah blah, and it's just like, as soon as an actor starts talking and they don't have a script, you're like, oh god, I wish I didn't know that this person seems as just like some schmo. So there's exceptions. Some actors seem like really interesting people. There are, of course, there's like all professions, there's a slice. There's really interesting people that are actors, and a lot of boring people who are actors, but they're maybe good at it.
Have you ever watched Inside the Actor Studio?
I really enjoyed the SNL spoofs of that show. No, but yes, I've seen it
with James Lipton or whatever. I've seen.
He's so serious
about this, yeah, but it's really about like the because when all those actors are on those shows that you're mentioning, they're all talking, unless they're comedians in which they'll do bits, they're mostly talking about like you said, how did you put this movie together, how did you do this stunt, or blah 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 blah. But the Actor Studio show is always about like, how do you tap into the raw emotion necessary to display such a vulnerability as was done in Happy Gilmore?
And that's an interesting book, because often they show the audience in that show, and it's all these clearly acting students who are just enthralled, hanging on the words of Kevin Bacon as he talks about how you channel acting, and you're just, I can't stand listening to that stuff.
Well, one thing that, just a funny aside about that, that's gone kind of viral or gone around, is that Louis C.K. did a stand-up bit about those actors in the class of like, the Actor Studio. He's like, really, like, if you're in a class listening to Sean Penn or something talk about being an actor, I got news for you. You're not going to be a famous actor. Spoiler alert. Nobody who's gone to listen to somebody like Sean Penn in Inside the Actor's Studio has ever gone on to become famous. Yeah. And then they cut what was revealed then is that he just used Sean Penn as like a joke, like just he picked a famous actor and used it to sort of denigrate that process. But Bradley Cooper, who is now a famous actor, actually was at Sean Penn's Inside the Actor Studio, and this is well before he became famous. He was just a student, and there's a clip of like Louis C.K. doing his bit, and then it cuts to Bradley Cooper asking Sean, Mr. Penn, I have a question, So I guess some of them do make it. It's just a really small percentage.
They do. And one other thing about acting that, I think Beau did a good job describing when you're actually doing Yeah, and we're like about the percentage thing, and again the fame and all that stuff, and I think we can probably mostly agree those people are doing you're doing it for the wrong reason. Probably if you're like I'm going to be famous, and I think most of the actors have probably even made it, went into it with some degree of like I'm doing this because I love it. I might never be famous, and they did it anyways, and then they made it, and good for them. That's wonderful. We love hearing everyone loves hearing those stories, but again back to the process of actual acting and sometimes part of my like problem with it. Now, I'm someone who appreciates the creative elements of storytelling. I'm a writer. I've studied writing, and I'm like that's the creative end of something like a movie. I studied screenplay writing and things like that, and I always thought that writers don't get paid very much, even in Hollywood. It's an even narrower market to become a screenplay writer in Hollywood, and it's not like well respected. But that's where all the words come from. Like that's where the story is built, and we don't really respect those people in the same way that we respect the actors who say those words, William Shakespeare aside. It's just it's. I always find it a bit annoying that the people who get the credit, the money, the fame are often the people who are the mouthpieces. They're maybe putting together a good performance, but often other people could have done as good a job as them as actors. Lots of good actors in the world. Other people could have played those roles just as well. But I feel like the creative, it just seems less creative to me than the person who's making the story, who's making the drama, who's writing the piece, and the actor essentially is just a mouthpiece. And I learned a new word just recently called a Cyranoid. Have you guys heard of this?
No, Cyranoid.
Have you heard of Cyrano de Bergerac?
It's familiar.
Yeah,
It's so familiar.
yeah, with the long nose and he was in love with Roxanne and all that.
Yeah, he's this ugly guy who is good at speaking, and I think it's sort of a comedic piece from. Anyways, and he whispers in the ear, and the kind of dumb, good-looking person says the words, and he's able to get the girl because Cyrano de Bergerac is the intelligent person who has all the right things to say, but he doesn't have the looks. And a cyranoid, I learned this recently, is a term because people have done psychological studies where you can make someone say something. Like if you're trying to do a test, you can put like a little speaker in someone's ear. And apparently human beings are very good at this. If, say, I'm sitting in a room and talking, and Beau, you have the little a speaker in your ear, and someone tells you, okay, Beau, you just repeat what Mike says. Apparently, humans are very good at this, and within a few minutes, you'd be able to pick that up, and you could just basically say what I'm saying just as I say it.
You could say what I'm saying just as I say it.
Yeah, and you would be the Cyranoid. So yeah, there you go. And but I'm like, that's basically what an actor is. The actor is the kind of hollow, empty vessel through which the writer speaks, and I just feel like
what?
It's true.
Vessel, yes. Empty, no.
Well, no, but they have to be to a certain extent. They have to be able to be open to being the character that somebody else has created. Like an actor must bring that person to life, but the writer is the person who knows the backstory of that character, who makes the dialogue real. It's true.
I have some information.
Bad
for you,
writing cannot be saved by good acting.
I disagree. I think there's some.
No, all you need to do is. Okay, well, we're getting into an argument here, but I was going to say all you need to do is watch Star Wars.
Yes, that's the perfect example of bad writing being saved by good acting.
No, it's not, because there's good actors. For example, what's her name? In the new ones, she played the Princess Amidala.
The prequels?
Natalie
yeah,
Portman.
What's her name? The actress?
Natalie Portman.
I'm going the original trilogy. I don't know why you're going.
Because Natalie Portman has been. Did she win an Academy Award for Black Swan?
Yeah.
Okay, she is someone who is capable of being an extremely good actor. She's won an Academy Award. I've seen her in things where I've been in V for Vendetta. She was amazing. In Star Wars, she was awful, because the words are so bad, no one can say them and make them better.
But see, I would argue like it's the same writers. Essentially, Episode 4 had horrible, like when Alec Guinness gets this stuff. And he's the lines that he has to say, they were ridiculous to him. He was legitimately mocking it. And Harrison Ford, he is the reason that Han Solo is beloved. It isn't because of the lines that are written, it's because of his delivery of that character and creation of that character.
There's more going on to that too. Star Wars is kind of not a great example of
we
like
picked
acting.
the kind of most divisive one there.
Because Star Wars has a lot of spectacle and a lot of other things go on that made that magic happen. And I think that's what we're talking about here, is that dramatic arts are a collaborative business. As a writer, you can go write an essay, you don't need actors. If you're trying to write performance pieces, you are, unless you're doing a one-man show for yourself, you are, by necessity, collaborating with other artists. And you don't get final say on how everything goes. And there are two schools of acting that diverge in modern acting here in North America, and maybe throughout the world, and that's the method actor, and that is the more, I don't know what you would call the other one, except for it's like the Sanford Meisner School. Is it American Playhouse, National Playhouse Theater from New York? The two are different, but the way the two are the same are, as an actor, what did the author intend from this piece for this character? No, actors go in and say, what is my interpretation of this character for my performance? Method actors, a premium example is Daniel Day-Lewis, who will pretend to be Abraham Lincoln for 2 years before acting in Lincoln, go the route thinking that's the way you channel a deep and great performance. Practical actors say, I don't care about the backstory. I care about what's the objective in the scene and how does this relate to me in real life, and I'm going to perform that. So if I have to break up with someone, my objective in the scene is to break up with that other person. And what is that like in my life? And I don't share that with other people. That's just a personal thing, and I channel that part of myself into the scene. But in both cases, they're not saying, man, what does the author want me to do? They don't give a shit about the author. They're like, the play's written, it's the text as is. They work with the director to make their interpretation of that performance. And it's probably the same in movies, actually, because the screenwriters, they write the screenplay and the director's like, I'm going to do what I want. Like, you might write the most brilliant screenplay and the director's like, you know what, we want to have a shot that has a helicopter that goes all this thing, and you as a writer, I don't care if you think that compromises the artistic integrity of the thing. So actors very much, I think they respect writers, because without them they have nothing. That is for sure. But I think they're looking, people who treat themselves as artists, and I think most do, they're looking to say, like, I need to perform this piece. The writer can't give me those answers. I'm bringing my own answers.
But yeah, it comes down, you basically said it's essentially interpretive art versus creative art. And there's for sure room, and I appreciate interpretive art.
It's not interpretive, it's creative. Like,
but it's still interpretive.
It's just intangible. But it's creative. I don't think it's interpretation.
The point is, as you just said, it doesn't exist without writers. Like, an actor doesn't just walk onto a stage and make up a great tragedy.
Yes, they do. There are long form improv where they make up shows while they go.
And I've done a lot of improv, and I've seen a lot of improv, and it's often turns into sometimes hilarious messes, but it certainly doesn't hold together
there's long
a work of
serious.
Shakespeare, or someone who is proficient at building a story and building characters and building dialogue.
There are long form serious productions that aren't intended to be comedic from an improv.
Why aren't we all watching improvised movies then? And
why don't we go to the theater more? I think we're talking about the commercialization of dramatic arts and what we choose to go to.
Look, there's room
Grandmaster Wayne Brady would differ in terms of the value of improv, but
Wayne Brady.
I would say like, I understand where both of you guys are going, and you both have strong opinions on both sides. But with regard to Mike's thing, because we've done celebrity, and I do think actors are over-recognized. Like, I definitely think that, like, the famous actors, the fact that, like, one of the biggest shows of the year is the Academy Awards, which is essentially an award show where we watch and the writers are recognized as well, but let's face it, everybody's there to watch the actors recognize themselves or whatever, and one actor talking about how great another actor is and that sort of thing. And definitely it is sickening, and that's tied in with this, celebrity culture aspect of it. But really, that's again the top small percentage of a giant field, and it doesn't change. Like Mike said, when I like actors when they're acting. So, and that's what we're talking about here. We're not talking about what they do necessarily in their free time or their award show. We're not necessarily talking about them being famous. Um, so then Beau's points become a little more. They hit me stronger because I think like no, the acting, it is interpretive, but it's brought in a lot to me, and I recognize how actors can play and bring added dimensions to roles. Like there's been a lot of talk about like Indiana Jones and how Tom Selleck almost got that part, and I remember thinking. I could see a Tom Selleck Indiana Jones like that. Wouldn't that
I
kind
think
of
that could have worked, man. Tom
that could
Selleck's
have
awesome.
I think that could have worked. It was right when he was in the middle of Magnum PI, and that's why he had to not do it. And when you think about Magnum and you think about Indiana Jones, you could see it. You could see it working. Their inherent charisma and what they could bring to the part. But then I think of like I try and think of like the most ridiculous actor I could think of to be somebody like Indiana Jones. Like I don't know. Like there's this guy in a lot of teenage movies that plays the nerd or whatever, and he's been in a lot of shows. I don't even really know what his name is, but he always plays like nerdy characters. And then I think if you took this actor who's known for playing nerdy characters, or somebody like Canadian actor Jay Baruchel or whatever, who's kind of like a bit of geeky, and
Let's
then
say
you're like,
Zach
okay,
Braff. Zach Braff is pretty
yeah,
goofy.
or Zach Braff or whatever, and said, okay, you're Indiana Jones. Like, I mean, I do understand the value of how somebody looks and the inherent charisma that they have, and how you can. There's value there. It's not worthless. It's not like. It's difficult for casting members for casting staff to find those types of people. So, and I've seen all these performances with these actors where I've had like either emotional attachments to their characters or to their works. Matt Damon, great track record. Tom
Speaking
Cruise
of man
actually,
crushes, my
Tom
God.
Cruise is doing pretty good too. Actually, I think he's done a lot of good movies. But yeah, so I definitely see the value in acting, and I respect the sort of bravery it takes to put yourself out there emotionally at one level or another. I think I'm sort of getting here.
I could probably go soon too, but but it is interesting in this whole thing about like, again, if it's like it's not like any actor. I think you kind of outlined this, Crofton, inadvertently. Like any actor can't play any role. And as much as Beau is like, they don't care what the writer says, they're going to do the part. I mean, the bottom line is, you can't have, say, John Candy couldn't have played James Bond. It just wouldn't have worked. And neither could Sean Connery have pulled off Uncle Buck.
I don't think the actors themselves would have shied away from it. These are producers and casting directors making those decisions.
The point is if you write a character and there are certain ways, some actors cannot play it. Lots can, and you can find an actor who can bring out that person. But the bottom line is you can't play anyone as much as you want to. Some people might say, yeah, you can, but if you want it to be truly convincing, it just can't work. It would be unconvincing to hold up the story if you had the wrong actor cast in the wrong part. And I think that's why casting is very important. And I think that a lot of work goes into casting things properly, and generally in Hollywood, at least, they do a very good job of this. But I would agree with Beau's point that it is. I'll even backtrack a bit. It is very collaborative thing, performance art in general, and movies too. Like it's just, the writer plays a part, the director plays a part, all the cast plays a part, and the actors play a part too. And the whole thing works because it's a big team effort. But again, back to what Crofton was saying, I do get annoyed how much praise and attention gets lavished on the actors when it is such a collaborative process, because they are the face of the project, right? So everyone's like, oh, they're the best. And they've done their part. But there's more to it than that. An actor cannot exist alone in almost any circumstance.
No, I mean, if you look at any film, there's like 1,000 names, and any production that gets put on stage has a large. If it's a large production, it's got a large crew, like without a doubt. Without a doubt, they are not the only part of the production. They're a small part of it, but they are the public-facing ones, and they're putting their art on display. So,
so should we?
But the one thing I would say about the right actor for the right role is that's a troubling topic, just because if you look at the state of black actors in Hollywood, there are a few documentaries about it. There's a lot of conversation about like, why is a white guy the right guy for this role? Like, can he just not happen to be any other race in a pop? Like, it doesn't matter that the character's Caucasian in a lot of cases, but they'll pick Caucasian all the time. So that conversation's happening as well. Typecasting is a thing. I think any actor, if it would, who's a, it's funny. I'm trying to think of an overweight actor who isn't dead. I think of John Candy
yeah, I was like
Chris Farley, and I'm like, but I'm sure if someone were like, "Hey, we want you to play James Bond," they'd be like, "Okay, I'll do it." Like, sounds amazing. Like, they wouldn't stop themselves.
You might do it, but then you'd watch it and you'd be like, "This is not working." In the same way,
well,
and I would argue someone like,
again, that's producers making those decisions for audiences.
no, it's not just producers. It's it's being true to the story too. I mean, John Candy couldn't have played James Bond, and Sean Connery could not have played Uncle Buck. And I would say like,
but they'd play it in a comedic sense. Soon as they would be in there, it would be like, because Melissa McCarthy has this movie that just came out called Spy. It's been very well received. I haven't seen it, and Jason Statham's in it as well and stuff. But in it, the comedic conceit, like the one line elevator pitch, is Melissa McCarthy, who is a larger actress, a Chris Farley-esque type actress, is a James Bond type spy. Like, that's the elevator pitch. And the idea is that it's a comedy, right? So I mean, she could play that character, but it immediately changes it from drama to comedy.
Exactly. It changes. And what's the intent of the piece? That stuff's important too. And so you got to have the right actor for what's the intent of this piece. What has the team decided with the direction? Are we going to take James Bond into comedic light? There's room for that, and it would probably be great. But it will change what the thing is. Maybe for the better,
Yeah, I still think that's a problem with how we write stories and depict our society in our current arts. That we can't have, oh, he's fat, he can't be in a spy movie. Like, you could totally make it. People's body shapes in reality are not what Hollywood,
I mean, it depends,
demonstrates.
Right?
Like, this is known.
You mentioned Daniel Day-Lewis, and he played Abraham Lincoln. If someone's like, why can't Denzel Washington play him? You'd be like, well, okay, in that case, you're talking about, it's a historical, like, there are situations like that where there's some real person, and if you were to cast the wrong actor, you'd be like, what the hell? This doesn't make any sense.
It's a limit of imagination. Yes,
like
if you're going for an aesthetic of
like,
absolute accuracy, then
again,
maybe racial casting makes sense.
Again, hold on, just let me say
you're
this.
being limited.
Sean Penn playing Malcolm X. It just would not work. I don't care what you say about he's a good actor. It's like, it would be a mess.
I live in a world of possibilities. I don't live in a world of you can't.
You're colorblind. That's great.
It's not about color. It's just dramatic arts are about the imagination, and the imagination can go anywhere. So conversation that's like, you can't do this and you can't do that, always makes me react with, yeah, you can. Like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's Straight Outta Compton is opening this weekend. It's based on an NWA rap group, and true story, Ice Cube is played by Carrot Top, famous comedian.
Is that true?
No,
it's not true at all, because it would be ridiculous.
Oh, but it's true in Beau's world. Just think of the possibilities.
I live in a world of possibilities.
An all white Straight Outta Compton. Yeah, that's what we're talking. Right? Why not, Beau?
Hate me all you want. That's how I roll.
Because it would be so untrue to the real thing.
To be fair, Carrot Top is wearing blackface.
Look, the world.
He didn't change the color of his hair though, which is kind of confusing.
Or his horrible act.
A great playwright said, George Bernard Shaw, "The world is upheld by reasonable men. All progress, therefore, depends on the unreasonable man or woman."
Yeah, I was going to say sexist bastard.
I'm unreasonable, intentionally so. So we'll consider this argument a draw, if you will.
Let's just do our verdicts then.
Oh, we haven't done those yet?
No, it is verdict time. All right. So let's bring in the animals for verdictization. Oh, that's not. Oh. Sorry, that's the explosives closet.
Yeah, edit that out.
Where are the animals? Where'd you leave them, dude?
I said, order in the cart.
Order in the cart.
I'll go first.
Do it.
And I'll
that was a dramatic pause, incidentally.
Dramatic pause. I'll just get right in front of this one. I'm going to say acting is good.
Oh, blown.
Wow.
My convincing performance as a cynic, good sirs, has convinced you.
It threw me for a loop.
So yeah, I like to crap on actors, but I mean, I agree with a lot of the points made that Beau made. I mean, it's easy to point out the vacuousness of certain interviews you see them in and what they actually do pretending to be people. But a good performance is powerful. I agree. I think the acting yourself, even if you're not good at it, is worth trying because it's an interesting experience to put art to performance in front of live people. I enjoyed it when I did it in high school way back when, but it was still an enriching experience. And if you see really great performance of a really well written piece, I think that those things do have to come together. It can be really great, and actors can bring something alive. So I do think it's good, and we all like entertainment. So yeah, that's where I'm landing on it.
Right, Beau, you should go next because everybody knows what you're going to say, and I can be that little bit of drama. Although after that twist Mike gave, I don't know if I'll be able to live up to it.
I feel like, all right, I can go next, but we're really leaving some dramatic juice on the table. So I've got a few more things I just got to get off my chest. Stanislavski, who is a Russian dude who at some point I think worked with Chekhov, and they founded a big movement in Russian theater in the 1800s, is sort of this viewed as a mentor to a lot of modern American acting practices today. And he said one of the greatest things I know about acting that I love, that I repeat all the time, that is the person you are is 1,000 times more interesting than the greatest actor you could ever be. And it's advice to, budding actors who want to be like the greats. The secret trick to acting is you shouldn't want to be like anyone else but yourself. But everyone hates themselves. And that's the point about acting, is that it's you putting yourself on display, and you don't like yourself, and it's horrible, and you do things everyone feels bad about themselves. And going up on stage, it's one thing to do a podcast because I get to put the nice shiny side of myself up on the camera and on my voice. Like, oh, I'm an awesome person. Look at me. I'm doing a podcast. I don't have to talk about the shitty things in my life and the shitty moments in my life. And the way acting, if you're giving yourself a true performance, you're not confessing to your shitty moments, but that part of your soul, that part of your emotional experience, you're going to put into it when you're playing something that relates to it and resonates. And if you do that, you will touch people, and that will be your art. And so I really love that saying. And, I'm just totally biased. I've been reading about acting since I was a teenager, ever since I thought I wanted to be in show business in high school. I've always had an interest in the performing arts. And specifically, I've come to just like this idea of acting as an art. I find it fascinating, even though I don't think I'm very good at it. I think I'm better at standing up in front of people and being an ass and hiding instead of exposing my vulnerability. So I have a great appreciation for the people who do this kind of stuff. I agree that the cult of acting in terms of celebrity is terrible, but it's sort of a different subject. Acting is a beautiful thing. More people should do it, and we should celebrate it more, minus the pretension. I'm not a big fan of pretension. So I'm going to say acting is good. Whew, got a little rambly there.
I'm
but
shocked.
I want to serenade it with love, because we may never do this topic ever again. And I want to give acting a giant hug. 2-hand hug, 2 hands pressed on the square of the back, that kind of intimate hug. I'm giving you that hug acting as part of my verdict. And then I smell your hair. All right, I'm done.
Okay, so I'm going to say acting is bullshit. And part of that was I was really like Beau had me sold earlier on it being good. Like really, I was pretty much going good the whole time, and then at the end, I was when Mike went good, and I'm like 3 goods for acting, but acting is kind of bullshit. And then I said, you know what, acting is bullshit, and I don't mean it in a negative way. Because that's the thing. We sometimes get caught up with using bullshit as a negative light on this show, and instead of going full on bad, just saying bullshit. I don't know who said this, but like being an actor is being a professional liar. And you are, and it's true. You're essentially being someone other than yourself. Bo's shaking his head here because he can't be quiet during my verdict. But being an actor is unless you're playing yourself, like Ronda Rousey is supposed to do in the upcoming movie based on her life, which is ridiculous. You are playing someone else, so you are lying in a way in how you're presenting yourself. So you're bullshitting is essentially what it is. Acting is bullshitting. It's also a luxury profession. It's a profession that honestly you could lop off. And I mean, it would be a sad world we would live in, but it would be a world nonetheless that could function well. Like it's not like a farmer or something like that. Acting is a luxury thing, and so already it's kind of bullshitty that way. That said, it's only bullshitty in that that's what it's trying to accomplish. It's trying to mislead people into a world of fantasy, and I enjoy those worlds. I enjoy watching the movies. We talked about the celebrity aspect. I don't like that, obviously, so that's kind of troubling as well. But really, the bullshit of my verdict stems into this is what actors are trying to do. They're trying to bullshit you, and like when I lie to somebody in real life. Like sometimes I wonder if I could be a good actor because sometimes I can like at work and stuff. Yeah, have you ever been in one of those situations where somebody says, "Hey, is this good?" and they show you something and you're like, oh yeah, this is really good, because you just don't want to hurt their feelings or whatever. Like you are lying, but you're putting on an act or whatever for what you feel in this example is the greater good. And so I just feel that actors, there is a skill involved. It is something that takes training. It is something that could be a little bit of like that American dream, chasing the carrot on the end of the stick. I can see the damage that it can do as well. So if you take all these like various little pieces, Beau's made a very passionate pitch for why it's good, and I don't disagree with much of what he said, but I just think overall acting is kind of a bullshitty profession. Like that's it. So I'm going to say bullshit.
It's your verdict, and I gotta respect it. But it's really
I know, but
what you said is really insulting. I think a lot of people who act
I agree
would be
with pretty
very
much everything
insulted.
he says, and I think that you've just over intellectualized acting. You've read certain takes on it, but like
Lying is a world apart from pretending to be someone else in the context of a play.
I mean, it's being disingenuous.
Lying hurts people. Lying is
No,
intentionally.
sometimes it protects people.
No. I think
Yes.
that's a debate for a different day. But
we should put lying on the list then.
yeah, we should put lying on the list, because I think to call somebody who makes believes for entertainment a liar and a bullshitter, I think if I went to your work and said what you do makes you a liar, you'd be insulted too. I think
whenever it's an actor, who cares what they think?
I think you can say it's bullshit. I don't think you can call people liars.
Okay, if anyone else has an opinion, like one of our good listeners, Beau.
You know what? If they have an opinion on acting, I'm kind of mad right now. I might need someone to do that.
We talk about all these like.
I'm taking it so personally. It's not like you're a professional actor.
Yeah, because you couldn't be, because no one is. This is a bullshit profession.
It's kind of bullshit.
I agree with Crofton.
Right, so I'm just adding fuel to your fire right now by being insulted. I get it. So the more I act indignant, the more
fired.
I'm gonna get trolled by the both of you. But it's insulting. It is insulting. It is make believe. It is not real.
Don't
A
put
liar
something in
is.
the random. Who put it in the random topic generator? Then you shouldn't put something in the random topic generator.
Oh,
when
I shouldn't put this dress on if I don't want attention. It's the same argument. You can't make that. Debating it's good. I just don't. I'm insulted.
Verdicts are over.
Insulted? How can we be insulted about acting? For God's
Well,
sakes,
yeah,
man.
I know.
Get some
It doesn't
perspective.
mean anything to you, but if it means something to someone else and they get insulted, it's not. They're not the point of being insulted is not because you think it matters. It's because a person getting insulted thinks it matters.
It's not even insulting. Now go ahead and tell our
All
listeners
right.
how they
If
can tell
you
us we're
want to
wrong.
provide us with an opinion about acting, actors, just your thoughts on this highly controversial and important subject that is fundamental to all societies since the day humanity could learn to read and write and perform things, you can send it to us at goodbadbull@gmail.com. We'll read it on the air. I want to continue this debate. I know I've got to stop now, and I feel like I'm just getting fired up with those last comments. If you want to find out more about the show, you can visit our website, goodbadbull.com. It is an awesome website. I worked hard on it. Mike worked hard on it. Crofton works hard on it. We all work hard on this great website where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes and on Stitcher. You can also like us on Facebook. There's a link at the website, goodbadbull.com, as well as follow us on Twitter at goodbadbull. What else we have? We have a viral campaign with stickers. So if you email us and you want some stickers so you can deliver your own verdicts on things, stick a sticker on an actor and see what happens. Take a picture of it, and send it to us at our Twitter account. We're curating photos of all your verdicts there. Finally, you can find us on YouTube. We have video versions of the show, youtube.com/goodbadbullshow. And we have a Patreon site. If you'd like to chip in a little bit of money to help support the show, you can visit us at patreon.com/goodbadbull. All right, I think that about wraps up all the stuff that we need to say. But first, we need to find out where we can get more information about us and our other projects. So, Crofton, if our listeners want to find out more about you, where can they find you?
Well, if they want, they can reach out to me at Crofton Sears on Twitter, and I will insult them directly. #shots fired.
All right. And if our listeners want to find out more about where you're from or what you're doing, Michael, on social media, where can they find you?
They can find me at ML Hodgins, where I'm going to send out a tweet right now telling actors that they suck.
That's I get. Yeah, okay. I'm just leaving it alone. I'm done. I will not win this. You will gang up on me. All right. You can find me at Beau Schwartz. I tweet stuff there. Don't forget to check out, if you like video games, we have a sister podcast called the Exclamation Mark Podcast that Crofton and I do, where we do acting every episode at the end of the show, I will add.
Okay, I have a question, because when I was thinking about my verdict, I was thinking about a particular movie with what I thought was a great performance, and I was like, oh man, that movie was just so good, and that performance was so good. I can't say it's bad. And so I wanted to ask you guys who your favorite actor is, and I'll tell you who mine is. It's and Beau, you mentioned him, Daniel Day-Lewis. Man, that guy is a good actor, and part of maybe why I like him so much is because he does not get involved with Hollywood bullshit. Like, you never see him in
What's the performance?
Oh, The Crucible. Man, if you've not seen The Crucible, based on an amazing play by Arthur Miller, I believe, so good. It's so good. The end scene where it's just like, I've seen the movie so many times, it holds up so well, and his performance is just amazing.
Well, here's a funny thing about me. I've never seen a movie with Daniel Day-Lewis.
How is that possible?
Name a movie.
Gangs in New York?
Nope.
What?
Lincoln? No,
There Will Be Blood?
No.
Okay, well,
Nope.
I own The Crucible. I'll lend it to you. It's so good.
Name another movie
The
with
Crucible.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
The
My
Crucible's
Left
amazing.
Foot? Nope. In the Name of the Father? Nope. Try another.
There Will Be Blood?
Nope.
Last of the Mohicans.
Oh!
Oh!
Nope.
Oh,
Nope.
damn it. I thought I got you.
We watched that one in high school, too, and I wasn't there that day. Nope.
You never saw it? Oh, man.
Well, you're
I have
missing
not
out.
seen one movie with Daniel Day-Lewis.
You're
in it.
missing
So-
out. Like, it's...
He's my
Sorry.
go-to when I think, like, actors that are actually good. I'm like, oh, Daniel Day-Lewis, man, he's good.
It's just none of the movies. Like, I'm sure I'd watch them and be like, he's amazing in them, but none of them really, like, drag me to go see them.
Well, it's such a good movie. But anyways, okay. Well, who are your favorite actors then? We know who Crofton's is. You already said it.
It's Matt Damon, buddy.
Really? That's so
I don't
funny.
think I
You're like a
can.
teenage girl.
What? No,
I
Matt
don't.
Damon's like almost 50 or something now.
Oh man.
I don't think
Well,
I
he's
can.
he's
pick-
in his 40s,
All
I
right, you
think.
guys are-
But like he's just been in his choice of roles are good. He's been in a lot of movies
Yeah,
that
I mean,
I've
he's a pretty
enjoyed.
good actor. Yeah, he's pretty good.
So it has less to do with he's not the best actor technically that I've ever seen, although he's done some good stuff.
He's good.
But
Yeah, he's good.
but I would say he's just like, and that's one thing I'm realizing with Tom Cruise recently is that he chooses movies that I want to see. I saw The Edge of Tomorrow, which kind of bombed last year. It's an amazing movie. It was super amazing science fiction movie. Tom Cruise. I was thinking about all the Tom Cruise movies that he's in. I'm like that I liked, and I was like, man, I like a lot of Tom Cruise movies. So he's another one that I would.
But he sticks within his range. Let's be
Right.
clear.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. I would. Not...
Daniel Day-Lewis though, his range is wide. Okay, Beau, who's your favorite actor?
I think that I can't name one favorite.
Oh my
person.
God, what a cop-out.
There are a lot of brilliant performances out there that I couldn't choose just one.
You just
but,
pick one.
But well,
Pick
you
one
know,
of your favorite actors.
Just one of your
like
favorites.
Ian McKellen. Ian McKellen is brilliant, and
What's
Sir Ian
inter-
McKellen.
What's
Who's Ian
interesting
McKellen?
about Ian
And-
McKellen is that he seems to be only famous now that he's like an older gentleman, right? Like I can't. He wasn't a famous younger actor, was he?
Well, yeah, I think long before he did these X-Men movies or whatever, he
Really?
he was
I thought he
knighted
was just-
before then. You know, like,
I thought he was
He's
just
probably like a
stage actor.
Shakespearean actor or something.
you know, it's just one. Like I enjoy his performances. Tilda
he's
Swinton is amazing. Everything I see Tilda Swinton in, I love. I love Kate Blanchett. I like who else is there? Alan. Is it Al? No. Who's the guy that plays Snape? Like that guy is amazing in everything. Is it Alan
He's
Rickman?
pretty
Is his
good.
name?
Alan Rickman. I like
Yeah.
Alan Rickman too, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's good.
Like see, to me, the brilliant actors are not the
Hans
Tom
Gruber.
Cruises of the. It's usually the character actors.
The character
ones-
actors, yeah.
Like they're always the better ones, in my opinion. You know, these working actors who are just brilliant in the roles, but there's
But then
so
you think,
many
okay,
of them.
How about most hated actor? I'll start. I have one, but it's not even really hated. It's more like can't act. It's Kevin Costner. I'm always like,
Kevin
I always
Costner's
want to
good,
say,
man. Untouchables.
I always want to say, yeah, but here's the thing: nobody plays Kevin Costner better than Kevin Costner
It's true.
because he plays Kevin Costner. In all you need to think of like the Robin Hood movie. He's like, I'm Robin Hood. It's like, dude, you're supposed to be British. He's like, oh, I can't do an accent. Whatever, it'll still work.
You know,
I'm Kevin
you know who
Costner.
else is amazing is Julianne Moore.
yeah,
I was
She's
thinking
good.
about her in
She's
Days
good,
of Men. I really enjoyed her performance.
Clive Owen's pretty good too.
Yeah. See, a lot of great actors.
Okay,
You can't
but
pick one.
name a crappy one. Kevin Costner, you know, his range is
crappy one.
narrow.
It's
Like-
hard. It's hard because I think of young people, but younger people are still budding as actors. They haven't made it when you're in your 20s and you're in a big
Whatever.
movie. No,
Stop
acting
popping
is a
out.
lifelong process. So I'm trying to think of like anyone who's made it to old age. It's still a
Do you
terrible
mean
actor.
comedians too? Because like Adam Sandler and stuff like that.
Yeah,
he's
I pick
pretty
Adam
good.
Sandler. God, yes, Adam Sandler.
There you go. See,
He had a good movie, I think. I think people liked. What was that?
Happy
one?
Gilmore, baby.
No. There was one by
Billy
Paul
Madison.
Thomas Anderson that I didn't see.
Oh.
Right after Boogie Nights, he did a movie.
Oh, Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I heard people really enjoyed his performance in that.
Yeah. Crofton, your most hated actor or crap? Yeah.
The crap. This is really funny because I know that there is someone that I'm
John
not
Goodman
thinking
is
of.
amazing, by the way. He's in
There's somebody
tons
I'm
of stuff
not
and he's
thinking
amazing.
of that I'd be like, oh, I hate that guy so much.
Oh, you know who?
You know who it is? Okay, this is going to be a cop out answer, but there is a video game voice actor named
Oh, of course.
named Cam Clark. Okay, it's especially around the like late '90s, early 2000s. He would do every game, and he did Leonardo in the Ninja Turtles cartoon when I was a kid. But like he has no voice range. Like whenever he's doing an accent, it's like Cam Clark doing an accent. You know what I mean? Like he's the antithesis of what I would imagine a voice actor. I can always tell when it's him.
Is he in Elder Scrolls games?
I don't know. Probably. I can hear anybody you could play me a clip and I'd be like, that is Cam Clark. He has an extremely distinctive voice. He's not able to change it, and he thinks he's a voice actor, and people keep hiring him.
Wow! Shots fired. Those Cam Clark, man. We want to hear
Yeah.
from you. You need to
All
respond
right,
to this.
that was a good post-show discussion.
It
There's
was.
somebody that's like a Hollywood actor. I'm sure that I would be like,
The guy who plays Indiana Jones's son, I hate
Oh,
that guy.
Shia LaBeouf. Yeah,
He sucks, man. In the Transformers movies, it's like every scene he's just like, no, 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 as he runs around with his arms flailing. Like, he's just not that good.
Oh, we're being ignored now. Yeah,
All right,
he was
whatever,
Not that
I'm gonna
great,
go.
but-
Yeah, I was just telling Jess she was waiting to dry her hair until we were done. So
Yeah,
that
we're
was,
done.
That was everything I'd hoped it would be, and more.
Beau, you love actors too much.
I like acting.
oh yeah, the camera
Right,
is
you
on
know.
here. Let me turn it off.
I'm not insulted, by the way. I was in the heat of the moment, but I've regained my composure.
Yeah, you were a little ridiculous.
Yeah, well, All right, live stream. Good night. Thanks for watching the show. Bye bye.